Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Adjuster Checkup. Let's start with our opening music. Welcome. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm starting to like that little opening. welcome, everyone, to another week of the Adjuster Checkup. Today is Wednesday, and we're about to get into it. So, our subject for today is how to stay deployed. All right. And specifically, what we're going to go into, what my little notes say here in how to stay deployed, we're going to talk about setting expectations. Really, the expectations are set. You need to set it within your own head, though. Meeting the expectations of the carriers and the IA firms and exceeding those expectations because that's essentially what's going to keep you working. All right. So, first and foremost, setting the expectations. Hopefully, I am coming in clear. I am projecting my voice. Hopefully, we don't have any sound issues. Setting expectations. Here's the thing. I think a lot of us, when we transition into this career, we think of it, especially if you're an independent adjuster and you're going that route, you like to think of it like a normal 8 to 5 job, right? And so then when something happens, one, because we're thinking about it like that, it's like, okay, I'm gonna get this job and I'm gonna work it for 2 years. Yeah. Uh Mindset needs to change just a little bit. First and foremost, let me tell you this. In setting the your own expectations in your mind. And this is what's important about this because when you tell yourself something different that's not true, that's how you end up with people being jaded after they've been cut the first time or something like that, rather than like having that bounce back to them and being like, oh, okay, cool. Okay, I'm going to take up, the next opportunity that's out there. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to do some more training. I'm going to, whoa, whoa, whoa. A lot of us get really, really discouraged and kind of take it really hard when they get cut the first time, take it very personally. So first and foremost, to staying deployed, set the expectations in your own mind. If you're coming into this as an independent adjuster, first and foremost, our job is to work ourselves out of a job. You're gonna get cut. You're gonna get cut. No deployment is going to last forever. It's not meant to. First, let me get that in your head now. Drill it in there so that you're not so butthurt when you get cut. So you're not taking it personally. So you're not tripping off of, oh, so and so was picking on me or whatever the case. And they could have been possibly picking on you. But know that your job is to work yourself out of a job. So with that said, stop hanging on the claims too long. Close them. All right. Because all of that, I'm gonna hang on because I'm trying to, I only got 50 claims left. The faster you actually work through the claims, because what the IA firms need, based on the demands from the carrier, they need closed claims. So the faster you do that, and the more efficiently you do that, that's actually what's ensuring your longevity, not you holding on to them and stretching the claims process out unnecessarily. All right. So that rolls me into that's the biggest thing about setting expectations. This is not, you're a contractor now. You're an independent contractor. You are your own business owner. This is no different than, say, for instance, a huge electric company getting a contract to wire out a new hospital wing. All right. It's just at a different angle. We have people who have been affected by disaster and they need people to come in and assess the damage, whether in person, over the phone, whatever, in the field desk. And then once you get done with those chunk of claims, you're out of there. Because as an independent, remember how we even get the work is because the insurance carriers, their staff adjusters become overwhelmed and the claims still need to be handled. The customer service still needs to be there, right? So as a result of them being overwhelmed, they outsource the excess to the independent adjusting firms who then give that work to us. So you're already dealing with the excess that the staff adjusters can't handle. Once we work our claims down and the staff adjusters get a handle of whatever they got in the office, they're going to take the claims back, whatever's left, right? That they feel like, okay, yeah, we can handle this now. We got a handle on it. All right. So with that said, calm down. But I get it because the way that society has programmed us is you get a job, you stick with the job, you have longevity at the job, job benefits, and da, 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 until you retire. Mm-mm-mm. That's not how it works over here. It's not how it works. Now you can get things like that set up for yourself if you financially plan well, right? But that's not how it works. But you make enough money to set yourself up right though. Okay. All right, we'll talk about finances on another one. I had a great idea to have our master accountant come in on one of the adjuster checkups before the year is out. Talk about taxes, okay? Filing your adjuster taxes. All right. So because our job is to work ourselves out of a job, that needs to be your main goal. Set your mind to closing these claims, figuring out how to get it done, getting the information that you need so that you can close the file. All right. So, with that said, what does the carrier and the IA firms need? Because part of longevity in this industry is knowing the expectations they have for you and making sure that you're meeting those expectations. Number one on the list, customer service. And customer service seems so simple, but it is it weighs so heavily in this industry. And the thing is, if you have your mindset around providing excellent customer service, everything that you do will be predicated on that. And that's going to ensure that longevity. So, when it comes to customer service, we're going to have to take our tails off of our shoulders. This is not customer service for a cell phone company. This is not customer service at the unemployment line. This is not customer service at a public service job or a retail job or anything of the sort that involves any kind of widget or gadget or gidget. This is customer service for insurance. It's a different level. And it's a different level because we are dealing with people at one of their most stressful times in their lives. You're going to see people, some of these people, at their worst. I think we talked about a previous podcast, your home is your sanctuary. Doesn't it feel good to go to work and be like, "Boy, I can't wait to get home." You remember them feeling? "Oh, I can't wait to get home. I'm ready to go to bed. I'm ready to lay on my couch. I'm ready to crawl into my pajamas, whatever. Pet my dog, my cat. I'm ready. I'm ready to go home because home is peace." But in these particular scenarios with these claims, these the places that these people who are affected call peace is destroyed. Some of it is damaged, fully damaged, partially damaged. They're not able to move around their space as they are used to. They're thrown off. Their energy is going to be out of whack. All right. And so, because of that, they may say some things on that phone. You cannot take it personally. And the whole thing of one thing that makes me so irate, me personally as a customer in customer service, is when you're venting because you're frustrated, and then the person on the other end is like, "Well, oh, you're cussing at me." No, I'm not cussing. Damn it, I'm frustrated. Right? I'm not cussing at you. I'm cussing at the situation. Okay. Forgive my language. I'm just using that as this is a damn shame what has happened to my house. Right? I'm pissed off. This sucks. Okay. And the more convoluted and more hoops that I have to jump through as an insured, as a customer, in order to get the money to get the repairs done, the more irate my ASS is going to become. Okay. So, with that said, you are going to have to, they call it developing thick skin. I don't really think that's it. Just stop internalizing every single claim and everybody that calls that's pissy. They're gonna be pissed. And how dare you be mad at them for being pissed? You get to go home to your nice, cozy little place. They don't. You don't have to go home and clean up drywall debris off the floor. You don't have to go home and call contractors and figure out who's going to repair what, when, coordinate, talking to all these different. You ain't got to do none of that. Okay, they do. So when we're working with them either in person or on the phone, we really, really, really need to kick in the empathy big time. Now that doesn't mean like, listen, when I first started, Katrina was so personal. Child, them people be on the phone crying. I'd be crying with them. We'd be all on the phone boo-hooing. Okay, but you, so I wouldn't say take it that far, like how I did when I was new. They appreciated it though, but I'm just saying, is keep it together, but show your empathy. You know what? And usually, what I do, even the initial contact, I ask before I ask anything, is everybody okay? Are you okay? I can see through the notes if you're married or not. And sometimes in the notes you can see if they got kids or not. Especially if you were in the notes it says, the home isn't livable, they got to get ALE and got to go get to a hotel. Is everything okay? Are y'all all right? Listen to the sound of my voice. How soothing does that sound? Wouldn't you like that to be on the other end of the phone if it was you? Are you okay? Is everybody okay? I mean, I know we got to get to the claim. I just want to make sure you're okay. I know this is difficult, and I'm going to do my best to walk you through this process. It can be a little lengthy, it can be a little convoluted. I'm going to do my best to explain what's happening every step of the way, stay in communication with you, right? Hold your hand for as long as I can through this process. And we're going to get through this together, okay? All right. Now we can proceed with the claim, can't we? Now they're already at ease. Customer service begins from the very first call, no matter where you are in the stage of the claims process as the adjuster. You may have came in at the very beginning. You may be doing initial contacts and first notice of loss calls. You may be the field adjuster. You may be the contents adjuster. You may be the mitigation or the ALE adjuster. Doesn't matter. Give them that customer service. Put that velvetiness on your tongue when you talk to them. Talk real nice and sweet and soft. Okay? Like you talk to your man or you talk to your woman. All right? Or like you talk to your grandmama. Put some sweetness on it. Put some honey on your tongue. Okay? Because your tone, everything matters. So if you have something going on personally in your life, you're going to have to figure out a way to compartmentalize whatever that frustration or feelings that you're having with what's going on personally. Don't bring that crap into work. Just like you wouldn't take it home with you, right? You wouldn't bring work home. Don't bring home to work. All right. If you need a day, take a day. Customer service begins at the very first phone call. It begins with hello. My name is, and I am your adjuster that's going to be assigned to your claim for XYZ, right? Customer service is also, and I'm going to really be heavy on customer service when we talk about longevity. It's everything. It's absolutely everything. Because when you have happy and satisfied customers, you have happy, satisfied agents. And when the agents are happy, the carrier is happy. Very, very happy. And if the carrier is happy, then the IA firm is happy. And you look great. Think of it like this. Your purpose as the adjuster, you are the liaison in a way, um, between the insurance policy that they purchase and the insurance company that represents said policy and the insured. You're the person in the middle of that process, right? You know how to get this information presented to the insurance company to where this claim for damages can be paid and payment issue, right? You have to take what the insured is giving to you and basically do your research, investigation, and format that information into basically into a format, mold that information into a format that the insurance company needs it to be in order to process that claim. Okay, so with that, the more nice that you are in the beginning, the more forthcoming the insured is going to be in providing you information. They're going to feel like I'm helping with the process versus the mentality of they don't trust me, they don't believe me. I'm feeling guarded and skeptical that this adjuster that I'm working with has my best interest at heart, that he or she is like working for me. And at the end of the day, these insurance companies don't have no money, baby. The money comes from the premiums. Okay? So think of that insured as signing your check. All right. And so with that said, if the insureds leave because they're having a bunch of dissatisfied claims process, insurance company loses profits. IA firm loses contracts. You lose your job. All right. Part of giving that customer service means in order to meet those expectations, you're going to have to know what you're doing. You're not going to be able to move through the claims process efficiently if you yourself don't know how it works. You're not going to be able to properly investigate that claim and interview the insured and ask the questions that you need to ask in order to resolve the claim and get it paid unless you know what you're doing and you understand not just how the process works. For one, if you're doing property and casualty, which is what we mostly talk about here, if you're on the property side, which I know most of everybody's going to be on property, residential, maybe even auto property, you know that one, you're going to be dealing with damage to, say, for instance, residential. You're going to be dealing damage to structures, to residential structures. If you don't know or understand how residential structures are built, the materials that it takes to build them, what the components on the residential structure is called, you're not going to be very good at this. You got to get that skill up. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do this. You can, because all of this is just knowledge that can be learned. There's no secret to this thing. I think everybody thinks there's some kind of secrets, some special the Chronicles of Narnia door that you walk through and you magically like know how to do everything. No, there's no secret. There's no shortcut. None. You take the shortcuts, it's gonna blow up in your face. For sure. Blow up in your face. The only thing is you gotta put in the work. If you're not working right now, what are you doing to enhance your knowledge and your skill set so that when you get back to work, you're going to be that much better than what you were on your last assignment? And see, that's the thing that we don't do. We don't invest in our own knowledge and education in order to be better at our job. But then you want to work a long time, but you ain't got the same skill level that Jimmy got. Jimmy putting in the work on the off days. Jimmy's putting in the work on the down periods or whenever things are a little slower. Jimmy's doing what he's got to do. You sitting on your hands and you want the same thing Jimmy got. Then you be mad because Jimmy get promoted above you or something. Or Jimmy gets to stay longer than you. And you don't understand why. Jimmy put in the work. You don't know what Jimmy's claim product looks like. You don't know what his work product looks like. Jimmy on point. Okay? Because I used to have folks that had that question about me. Why Charlene? I used to get promoted and I was in departments with adjusters literally 3 times my age. I was in my late 20s. I was a team lead on the first deployment. How did I do that? Because the managers are watching you while you're deployed. I did that by one, I follow direction very well. And what I do is let I don't relax when I'm learning something until I feel comfortable that I have full understanding of it. So I'm on it. And I'm on it day and night until I get it. I'm on it in my off hours. We're working 12 hours a day. The rest of the time after I go back to wherever I'm staying at, my hotel or whatever, temporary apartment, I've got homework that I've got assigned to myself. I'll print out the policy and take it home and read it for for before I go to bed at night, right? When we knew that we needed to know um, more about structure. Do you know what soffit is? And do you know how to spell it? Do you know what fascia is? And I know that sounds real remedial. It's really basic. But trust me, you got some contractors out here, 30 years of the game doing construction, don't know how to spell soffit or fascia. Everything you do, every little detail of your work product is not just enough to be like, okay, let me throw the estimate together. Let me put it up there. And it's not enough. How does your estimate look? How is it organized? How are your notes? Is everything uppercase? Is everything lowercase? Or is it uppercase, lowercase? Are you following the rules of basic, grammatical rules, basic phonetics, along with how you talk to people, right? Along with your knowledge base. Because, see, if you know more about construction and you understand, oh, I know what soffit is, I know what fascia is, I know what 2x4 framing is and where that should be. I know how drywall works in a home. That 5/8 inch goes on the ceiling and 1/2 inch goes on the wall. I understand that when I'm looking at an estimate, I'm trying to reconcile differences because I'm experienced, and that's why I encourage a lot of people, even if you don't want to be in the field, go to the field at least once. At least once. It's going to make you a better adjuster. Stop, and then stop being scared. I can't do this. I can't. You don't know what you can do. You're limiting yourself. That's a discussion for a whole nother day. I won't be preaching. So you got to know what you're looking at. If it's a car, understand the components of a car. Know the difference between the engine and the alternator. Know the difference between the shocks and the struts. Where do they go? How do they work? How are they installed? Right? Know those things, because then when you get a claim and say, like on the structure side, you get a contractor's estimate and you're looking at the estimate, you can start, it'll be easy to see the differences. It'll be easy to be like, wait a minute, them walls didn't, let me go look at these photos. Them walls didn't look like they had smooth texture. Smooth texture costs more. Those walls didn't look like they had smooth texture. They had this. Or, this measurement that this contractor has for the roof seems a little bit big, or for this room seems a little bit larger than what it looks like in the photos from what I know. But again, you won't be able to make those assessments unless you didn't put some boots on the ground and went out to a couple of houses and looked at a couple of things. I can literally now eyeball. I can tell if a wall height is 8 foot just by looking at it without measuring it, because I understand how the home works. A door, like this door behind me, look, I'm pointing to it. Okay, that's my door, right? A standard door is installed at a height of 6 feet 8 inches. This is an 8 foot ceiling. It ain't that much room between 6 feet 8 inches that stops there and from that ceiling. Probably about 1 foot 4 inches in between, making this an 8 foot room on the height. If I see a larger space, from the threshold of the door, excuse me, from the door frame from the top going up, if it starts, I'm like, that might be like a 9 or a 10 foot ceiling, right? And of course, it goes up higher. Then I'm like, okay, we're going to get the laser measure. We got to measure this one. We got to verify this, right? But I can eyeball it. That makes me faster at what I'm doing. It makes me, I'm taking less time looking at something where it might take you 30 minutes to figure that out. I just figured it out in less than 30 seconds. Experience, but we put in the work. We knew that we didn't know anything about construction components. And at that time, um, it wasn't so easy just to pull things out of the internet. So we went to the library. We went to Home Depot and hung out. We also bought, it's at mom's house, but we bought this big old fat book, and I can't remember who made it in the name, but it was this book, all things. It was basically a book of all construction components that were current on the market that could be installed on a house. And I literally used to just take that book and just stare, and it has little pictures with it and everything for everything. And so I would stare at the pictures, and then I would look at the name. Okay, that's a cornice. Oh, okay, that's a cornice. Got it. Oh, that's a baluster. Oh, okay. So that's why they call this the guardrail. So that's what a newel post looks like. Got it. Right? Because once you become familiar with that as part of your job, once you become familiar with things like that, One, you can help reconcile estimates more easier if you end up with supplements. All of us are going to eventually end up working supplement claims. Okay. And that's really where you start working longer deployments, is when you're doing, like, you're on that end of the claim handling process. Not the first time inspections and all of that. Yeah, field adjuster probably be out there. It depends on field adjuster though. Because some field adjusters get picked over and over again to stay in a certain area or to do cleanup for every storm. So then you can have extended field adjuster assignments, but the average field adjuster coming out into this, most likely your first storm, you're not going to work. You're going to work anywhere between 30 to 60, maybe 90 days on that first storm, just depending on how good you are. All right. So, with that said, more of the work is really on the back end after the field adjuster's gone out, done his first inspection, his or her first inspection, and sent out the first check. Then it's the supplement where most of the claim work is. The contractor, insurer gets a contractor, contractor sends in an estimate. Estimate is more than what the field adjuster came up with. So now we have to reconcile between the field adjuster's estimate and the contractor's estimate, figure out what the differences are, and then once we recognize those differences, see if what the contractor is claiming is justified, which is going to be a lot of you looking at photos from the field adjuster inspection. And you're going to stare at them until you be like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, we can't justify that. I do see that in this photo. Or even asking the contractor, hey, this, I don't know, copper cupola, it didn't show up in the photos, or they didn't take a picture of it showing it was damaged by the hail. Can you, if we can get that from you, we can get that included in the estimate, things like that. Knowing how to have the conversations, right? Um, Meeting expectations, customer service. Part of that customer service is also, along with knowing that construction, you got to know the policy. Start studying it. When you're deployed, print out the policies that you're working with most commonly, that you're coming across on most of your claims. Print it out, hole punch it, put it in a 3-ring note binder, along with any corresponding endorsements or exclusions as well. And on your downtime, when you go home back to your hotel room, after you done with the day with your whatever, read that policy. Read it for fun. Read it until you get familiar and you're comfortable with it. Okay? Because again, you're wasting time pondering over something that could takes me 30 seconds, takes you 30 minutes. That's the difference between me staying and you going earlier than what you might want to. All right? Um some of us may need to go to Toastmasters to learn how to talk to people. Some of us don't have good oratory skills, and it's okay. It's just something you got to work on. Do you have a typing? Do you type well? Are you fast at typing? Because you may have to go to a typing class to get better. Everything we do is everything, even in the field. You're going to be on a keyboard. You're going to be in front of a computer. What are your computer and your typing skills? I've talked about this at other um on other adjuster checkups, but I'm dedicating this time just for it. This is it's simple. I have no magic pill to give you. I'm going to be honest. It's your work effort. It's what are you putting into this to make it work, to stick around. Now, once you get really good with your customer service and how you speak, and you got to be able to explain things, not just, can you listen and be an active listener, hear a question and address it and answer it, because there's going to be a lot of that. Do you understand how depreciation works so that you can explain that to them, the insurer, during the claims process? Sometimes you have to explain stuff to contractors because they don't understand. Sometimes you have to educate agents because they don't understand. Sometimes, so even PAs and attorneys. I've had a claim where each and every one of those parties in some claim or another down the line had a misunderstanding of how the policy works, how the process works, and I had to walk them through it. But I did it without any kind of malice or any kind of uh, not in any condescending manner or anything like that, just to say, oh, okay, this is how this works. Okay, so this is this and that, right? And then even after I explain, I always ask, does that make sense? Did I answer your question? Or would you like to would you like me to provide a scenario? Like, I want them to have an understanding, because part of that customer service is educating the insured. You have to assume that everybody that you're dealing with when you're doing the claim, the insured especially, has no knowledge, has never had a claim before. Even if you see that they had a prior claim, treat them as if this is their first time. Don't treat them like they know, because they might have had a prior claim, but depending on who handled it for them, who their adjuster was, depends on what kind of experience they had. The whole point is everything that insured is giving us that they're saying is damage. All we are doing is verifying that the policy covers it, and if it covers it, does it cover it fully or partially? Huh? Verifying when the work is going to be done, explaining the process to the insured. That's all we're doing, and paying the claim. That's the whole process. Now, there's a bunch of steps in that process, yes. But that's why we want to make sure that we're very transparent. I think sometimes as adjusters, we're scared to be transparent with the insured, because we think, oh, they're going to get upset if I give them the realistic time frame for how this claim may go. No, give them the realistic. Don't blow smoke up their tails. Give them the realistic time frame of what it's going to take to get through the process. Set realistic expectations, and then meet them, and then exceed them in everything you do. If you say, if you feel like, oh, this is a small claim, I'll be done. Say today is Wednesday. I should be done with this on Friday. You should be done with it on Friday if they don't pop up a meeting on you at the last minute. You'll be done with it on Friday if you don't get any new claims that you have to stop everything and do initial contact for. You'll be done on Friday if something doesn't come back from file review that you got to fix. So you don't know what's going to happen there. So don't tell them you're going to be done in 2 days. That's not a realistic expectation, right? Let them know, hey, and not even I'll be done. I'm going to follow up with you. I'm going to continue to work on your claim file. I'm going to follow up with you next week in five to 7 business days. But give them a date and a time, and then stick to it. Put it on the calendar, on the company computer, or on your personal phone, however you track what you're doing, right? Like, follow all of this stuff. There's a whole list. I could go in extreme detail, but I'm trying to keep it short, as short as I possibly can. But it's important. These are the basics. These are the fundamentals of doing this job, right? It's like, as a gymnast, they don't learn how to backflip on the first day, right? They stretch, they figure things out, they learn how to bend back first, and then forward and rock, and then they learn how to lift the foot up there, and then this, and then they eventually get to that point. That's what you have to do here, right? You have to build your, like, adjuster muscle up, build it up. That's how you meet the expectations. Now, how you exceed them, you go over and above what everybody else is doing. That's how you exceed them. That's how you stand out. That's how you stay working. The last little component I want to say to how you stay working. After you get the fundamentals down, you got your customer service on point. If you're in property or whatever area of specialization that you're in, you understand the materials, how they work, how they're installed, measured, right? You got Xactimate down. You know how to do that. You know how to read the policies, right? Once you get that all down and you're doing good, you're knocking claims down, you're getting them closed, got good customer service, your calendar is on point, you're in compliance, you're up to date. And mind you, that's an uphill battle. It's hard because really unrealistic expectations are being set on adjusters. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. We're going to work with what we got for now. The next part about it is, and I mentioned this briefly at the end of one of the other lives, you got to have customer service in the office. You got to have rapport and relationship with the people you work with, especially when you're independent, and even if you're staff. We are spending more time with these individuals sometimes than being at home. We're spending more hours at work than at home. And with that said, I will say this: a lot of opportunity that I got was because one, I worked my tail off, and it was easy to be noticed. But the people that noticed it were people who were in decision making positions. You see what I'm saying? I got to stick around a lot of times because of my work product. But the other, I would say 80% my work product and customer service, and like 20% like my likability. And I'd hate to say it like that because it is true. There, the nepotism is strong in the industry. And I knew really, really good adjusters who would never be considered for promotion because whoever was in the decision making role didn't like their personality. And I'll say this: it's not about kiss and tell. It's not. I was really myself, all the way myself. Um, but it's something that my mother taught me. My mother always taught me you are no less than or no better than anybody else. And that's how I approach life. I don't care who you are. I don't care if I run into Michelle and Barack. You have great accomplishments and achievements in your life, but I'm still not less than you. So, anywho's, there is a likability factor. I will say I've seen adjusters try to run up behind managers and be their little pets. That don't work. Don't do it. Just be yourself, but be open to the conversations in the office as long as they're appropriate. Of course, don't get caught up in any inappropriate conversations. Um, and some opinions you're gonna have to keep it to yourself. And then you know how some people you got to handle with a 10-foot pole. You can't be open with them, or they only want to be around you or know what you're thinking so that they can run and tell that and run it back, which I think is just really just pitiful. But they're doing that because they are dealing with, they have a mindset of lack and inferiority. You're a threat. And so they're trying to get rid of you because they think if they can get you out of the way, it could keep them closer to their goal of sticking around, of, staying on that deployment longer and getting paid more, so forth and so on. And sometimes there's some deployments that just because management isn't on point, that you can work your tail off, and I've seen it happen. And there's another group of adjusters who, yeah, they working, but they cutting corners, they doing stuff kind of backhanded, but because managers like all up in their face, and they just like them so much that they don't catch it until the end, and by that time you've been released, and then you hear it through the grapevine, oh, so and so got caught up, couldn't find out that's such and such stuff that they was doing. They was lying about it. They was telling people they didn't have no closures. They was just telling, they were making people withdraw their claims instead and then counting it as a closure. They weren't even trying to investigate it all came out. Yeah, it all came out, but unfortunately it came out when you cut the good people and left these turds around. Ain't nothing you can do about that. Okay? So some of these things there's nothing you can do about. But ultimately, yeah, you want to get to a point where you're having more longevity. That's going to come with experience, and that's going to come with your work ethic. Yeah, what are you willing? How much faith do you have in yourself? We got to have more faith in ourselves. The key to getting deployed and staying deployed is you. I just released well, actually, it's not going to get released until tomorrow. No, till Friday. You are the X factor in your success. This is all up to you. What do you want to do? What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do? It's not like this is Hollywood and we're asking you to, do something strange for a little piece of change. I mean, just get your knowledge up, get your skill set up, utilize the resources that you have. Like practice. You go to the course, you learn the skill, practice the skill afterwards so it doesn't get lost on you. Don't pay all that money for the skill to get lost. Practice. I self taught. I taught myself Exactly. Everybody's like, oh my God, that's such an achievement. It's not. I just sat there and kept clicking buttons and practicing until it made sense to me. It was that simple. That's it. That's setting the expectations. That's our job to work ourselves out of job. Meeting the expectations. Give the good customer service skills. Get your skills set up with construction or auto components, the policy, Exactimate, nya, 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 so that you can work through the process faster, identify damage quicker, recognize materials better. Then you can see the differences between what the adjuster put together and what the contractor put together, because actually statistically they say the adjuster is only going to get about 60% of the damage when they go out for these field inspections. So that's why the supplement process ain't no big deal. And the thing is if you would tell the insured that in the very beginning of the process, they wouldn't be in such a daggone panic. When the contractor assessment comes back, it's different anyway. They would know what to do. We should be telling them what to do when we do the very first settlement. Okay, now that you have this, here are your next steps. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to find a contractor to make the repairs. What you should have them do first is have them come and inspect your home for the damages as a result of the fire or the storm or whatever the scenario may be, right? Whatever that is for that claim at that time is what I say. And then what you want to do is when they provide you an estimate, if the estimate amount that they have is more than what you got from your adjuster, don't let them do any repairs yet. Send that estimate in. If that's the contractor you want to choose for your repairs, send that estimate in to our supplement department so that we can get an adjuster assigned and try to reconcile the differences and see if that they can. And that way, if you do that before the contractor does the work, you'll be absolutely 100% knowledgeable of if the insurance company was able to make up for that difference 100% or not, and why. That way you're going into this project to repair your home with your eyes wide open. When you say it to them like that, they like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. You're going to get less supplements now that come in where they're like, oh, here was what the contractor charged. I got the work done. Go ahead and pay me. You like, what? Where they do that at? But they will do that because they never got direction on the front end. And now you have an argument. Now somebody cussing you out. Now somebody's hollering at you because what? Not because of any fault of your own, because of the adjuster before you, unfortunately. And now you got to calm it down. I apologize that you were not told that information. So you got to know how to, what do they call that? De-escalate situations. And if you don't have these skills, go learn it. They got classes on it all the time. Some of these classes are fresh, go to or new or free. Go to your local library for like computer 101 stuff. Most of the time they be doing classes like that for free. It's just too look for it. Like once you know what your challenges are, go find the solution for yourself. What are you willing to do to make it work? If you have no faith, confidence, or belief in yourself, there's no training that you're going to be able to do to be successful at this, because you do have to have a level of self confidence and self belief and self trust. You gotta have it. You're not. See my eyes. You ain't going. It ain't going. Mm 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 mm. No. So, and then likability. You got to get along with your coworkers for the most part. That don't mean kissing nobody, but if you got somebody their energy ain't right, I've been around it. I stay away from that energy. I stay away from it. I'm like, I'm gonna let my work speak for itself. But here's the thing: if you're the only person I got an issue with, but you got an issue with everybody, then ain't nobody tripping off me having a problem. You're the problem. Hi, it's you. You're the problem. It's you. Okay, and stay focused. Stay focused. Don't be getting all chummy, too chummy with the coworkers either. Cause I done seen some child. We got some story times for your. I'm talking about company parties and folks getting caught in bedrooms and all kinds of stuff. All things in moderation, people. Know your limits. But believe in yourself. That's the key. There's no magic pill. There's no magic step, you all. Staying deployed, setting, meeting, and exceeding expectations. Do we have any questions? Any comments, concerns, fears, jubilations, celebrations? It's a celebration. Let me quit. All right, I think y'all are good to go. Hey, I ain't had no questions this week. All right, we good. All right, so I will see you all later. We are done with another wonderful Wednesday evening of Adjuster Checkup. And just as words of encouragement for you all, I'm telling you, I'm saying the same thing until it sinks in. It's not a matter of if you're going to get deployed, it's only a matter of when. You can do this. You can do this. You deserve it. You're worth it. All right? If nobody told you that, I'm telling you that. You deserve it and you're worth it. And you can do it. You have all the tools that you need right now inside of you to be successful. So, with that, I'm signing off. I have enjoyed this evening with you all. I hope that this has helped someone out there. I hope that you have been able to learn, even if just a little bit, or even be reassured. If I can do this, you can do this. If my mother can do this, you can do this. All right. So stick with it. You got this. Winter is here, but that does not mean that the work is gone. We've got weight of ice and snow claims coming up. Wildfires in California happen in the winter. And we've got pipe burst, the little thing where the water backs up in the gutters. That, I keep forgetting the freaking name of it. We got work out here that's going to be coming down the road to be done. Get yourself prepared to handle those claims so that you can get good at your job. So you can get to the level where you're deployed for longer. You're not calling deployment, deployment's calling you, or the managers are calling you or telling deployment to call you. You can be a core adjuster, be one of the last ones to be released and the first ones to come back. You can have all of that. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I am out of here. I will see you all next Wednesday for another adjuster checkup. All right. Peace out. Have a great Wednesday. Have a great weekend. And I will see everybody next week. Bye.